The Mimikyu has, it's a similar sort of thing. It has that Twinkle Tackle. It has the Farium Z as well. So
right, yeah.
could bluff possibly a taunt and go for that. So in the same kind of regard, it's a very similar sort of situation. It's not going to be hitting as hard as the Porygon Z, but as we see, we're going into team preview now, and I'll pass over to my good friend Sebi to go over the teams once again.
Yeah, we're gonna see Silvella and Mimikyu, Gigalith, Tapu Koko, Celesteela, and Garchomp on Jason's side. And on Matthias' side, we got again the Tapu Koko, Porygon 2, Kartana, Arcanine, Garchomp, and the Tapu Lele. So I think both players made like plans the whole night to how to outplay and outsmart the opponent, so it's going to be really interesting what the leads are going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be, like I say, testing the water, I think, for both players, game one. I'm sure they've both got a game plan going into this match, with clear aims in sight, knowing what they need to do to win the set. Matthias needs to try and prevent that Trick Room and stop the Gigalith sweep. And he has the tools, like we've seen in previous matches on the stream, that he has the tools to do that, and Jason needs to be able to get around Matthias stopping the Trick Rooming and kind of going all out with that. So,
and we're gonna see the Tapu Koko and Garchomp on Jason's side, and the Tapu Koko and Arcanine on Matthias's side. Like, really good lead. He led off with that Arcanine just to get the early Intimidate off, and the Tapu Koko maybe some Volt Switch, maybe some Skydrop, as you mentioned, maybe some Taunt, maybe some like even a Crystal power-up attacks somewhere. So really good lead on Matthias' end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a nice lead. I mean, he gets the Intimidate onto the Garchomp that will weaken that Earthquake. Depending on how Matthias has trained his Arcanine and his Tapu Koko, potentially be able to take that Earthquake. I'm sure the Arcanine probably will be able to. But you never know, we may see something like a Helping Hand on the Arcanine. We've seen that many times already on stream, and it doesn't gleam. That may pick up the KO onto the Garchomp, so it is threatened. It's not safe. And of course, that Jason has that Koko next to him that he can't freely Earthquake next to.
No. And we're gonna see Arcanine protecting. Matthias going for a Dazzling Gleam, doing a good amount of damage to that Garchomp, revealing its Life Orb there. And Jason's Tapu Koko going for the Skydrop into Matthias's Tapu Koko. And we see the Sword Dance on Garchomp boosting its attack. Like, this is another really cool combination. Get your Tapu Koko into the air, and now he's free to get off an Earthquake, since his own Tapu Koko is in the air, not getting hit. So Jason didn't go for Trick Room in lead-wise. Well, this is probably what Matthias expected that Arcanine came out in the first turn. So we're gonna see the Garchomp protecting instead of going for an attack. Arcanine going for an extreme speed into the protecting Garchomp. The Tapu Koko comes down, doesn't deal that much damage, and of course Matthias's Tapu Koko couldn't move since it was in the air.
Yeah, and I can understand. I think with the Garchomp there, you saw that Matthias went for the extreme speed, revealing that on the Arcanine. The Garchomp probably is in near enough range for it to get killed, but I don't understand the protect, because now it's going to get picked up by the Dazzling Gleam, as we see Matthias do here. And we'll see what Jason's Koko goes for.
Garchomp goes down, as you just said, to a Dazzling Gleam, because Matthias got Life Up on his Tapu Koko. And Jason again goes for Skydrop in that Tapu Koko. And Arcanine cannot Flare Blitz anyone because nobody else is on the field. So maybe Jason was thinking he could get the speed tie if both Tapu Kokos are at the same speed. He may have hoped to get it into the air and get off an Earthquake into the Garchomp, but he could have done that last turn.
Yeah, but either way, regardless, if he went just for, I would have expected maybe a Tectonic Rage into the Arcanine slot that turn, and just hope that the extreme speed didn't pick up the KO from the opposing Arcanine. Earthquaking yourself, you're going to take down your Tapu Koko, and hopefully the opposing Tapu Koko, but then the Arcanine could switch out into something like Porygon 2. So it's quite risky there. He has got his Gigalith in now. It's not really threatened by the Arcanine, and he will be able to get a big, potentially Rock Slide or an Earthquake, as we've seen him reveal in yesterday's games.
Yeah, and once the Tapu Kokos come down, that Gigalith is like really firing off big attacks. Matthias sees it coming, preserves his Arcanine for later on, sends in Garchomp who resists the Rock Slides. Tapu Koko is coming down. And is it a speed tie or not? Stone Edge from the Gigalith into the Garchomp slot, doing a good amount of damage, and it seems not to be. Is it a speed tie, Lee?
I don't think so. I think it seems like Jason's Tapu Koko is maybe just a little bit slower, trained a little bit slower than Matthias is going second every time we have seen both Tapu Kokos attack. The thing is now is Matthias' Garchomp in range for a Dazzling Gleam from Jason's end to take it out, and can it survive a Dazzling Gleam?
Yeah.
Probably can from the damage that we've seen on the previous turns.
So I'm really curious if Jason's Tapu Koko knows the move Dazzling Gleam. I've seen more and more Tapu Kokos drop it if they're not up for a Fairy MC. So this is going to be really interesting. And Gigalith switching out again in favor of that Celesteela. Maybe he wants to take those Tectonic Rages on this end, and Tapu Koko from Matthias protects. This is going to be really interesting. Jason's Tapu Koko Thunderbolts into Matthias's, and we're gonna see the Tectonic Rage. But who is he gonna target? Was it
You'd expect it into
slot?
the Gigalith, yeah. And it's a nice switch onto the Celesteela there from Jason to really nullify that Tectonic Rage from Matthias' side of the field.
Yeah.
Celesteela on Jason's side of the field is still threatened, although that Electric Train has ended, so probably will be able to take those Thunderbolts now and start putting on a little bit of pressure. Maybe he can start spreading Leech Seeds onto Matthias' side of the field.
Yeah, Matthias is now pretty free to preserve the Garchomp for later on by just sending in the Arcanine, and if he expects a Dazzling Gleam, it will be a good switch in for him, and let's see what happens. Matthias withdraws his Garchomp, sends in the Arcanine just to take those Dazzling Gleams and non-boosted Thunderbolts, and getting off a Intimidate onto the Celesteela in the meanwhile, which reduces damage output from Heavy Slam and such. So we see a Dazzling Gleam from Tapu Koko into Jason's Tapu Koko and Celesteela, not taking Tapu Koko out, and Jason goes for Dazzling Gleam as well, and not getting a knockout neither. And we see a Flash Cannon from Celesteela into the Arcanine slot. So really interesting turn with no knockouts. Is someone going down to Sandstorm damage? I doubt it. Yeah. Clutch hang in there, and this Tapu Koko also hangs in.
The interesting thing is now, if Jason can remove the Arcanine and Matthias' Tapu Koko from the field, Celesteela is going to have a really easy job closing out the match. Matthias needs to preserve that Arcanine to deal with that Celesteela. Tapu Koko will go down this next turn to Sand, residual damage, if he decides to leave it in. Maybe it's an idea to possibly bring in the Garchomp on that slot if you want to preserve it for later in the game, so you've got more assurances for that Celesteela, which at the minute is looking quite threatening for Matthias.
Well, doesn't he want to preserve the Garchomp as well to take down the Gigalith later on?
Yeah, but if Matthias has brought Kartana as well, then we haven't seen his fourth Pokemon, then that would be an answer for that Gigalith as well.
And Matthias goes for a Dazzling Gleam, takes out Jason's Tapu Koko and his own Tapu Koko thanks to the Life Orb recoil. Arcanine is free to fire off a Flare Blitz into the Celesteela and takes it out. So now Jason is down to only Gigalith.
Yeah, that's surprising on my part that Jason didn't go for the Protect there.
Yeah.
It was heavily threatened from, you know, two of the biggest threats to Celesteela in the meta game facing down on it. You would expect it just to protect. Let your Koko go down, get some maybe damage onto the Arcanine if you can, but then get that Gigalith in the next turn.
Yeah,
to start putting some pressure on the Arcanine, because the Tectonic Rage has been burnt now, but Jason's in a really tight spot where he's threatened by the Garchomp, and depending on what Matthias has in the back, if it is that Kartana, then it's not looking to
Arcanine goes. Yeah, I doubt Matthias wants to show what's in the back. I doubt it. He is like experienced enough to not show what did I pick, what can you expect the next match. So he goes for an Earthquake. Yeah, doing a good amount of damage. The Gigalith is in Earthquake range again, and Jason needed that Earthquake to take the Garchomp up, but it didn't. So Matthias is in a spot where he doesn't even have to reveal what item does my Garchomp run, because he went for straight Earthquake, and I'm pretty sure he would have done that this turn as well, just taking out his own Arcanine. But we have seen Matthias letting Pokemon go down just to not reveal more than he needs. So this was really clever there, keeping the fourth Pokemon in the back, not revealing anything. So well played.
Yeah, really well played by Matthias, and like you say, very clever to keep that fourth Pokemon secret. It makes it a lot harder for Jason to prepare for. Probably know the 3 Pokemon that Matthias will bring again, but it's picking that last one. If I was Jason, I would think it would probably be that Kartana, but you can't discount the Porygon 2 being there, because it allows Matthias an option. If that Trick Room does go up, it gives him an option to potentially reverse it.
Yeah.
I think Jason had the right idea going into that game with the Garchomp. I think setting the Sword Stance up, if he'd maybe went for the Tectonic Rage and risked the extreme speed not KOing the Garchomp that turn, he would have removed one of the big threats, and it would have made it a lot easier to kind of get Celesteela in. It wasn't as threatened, you know, when the Arcanines. There's no Intimidates to reduce the damage of your Gigalith and things like that. So it would have give him an advantage going in. So I wonder whether he'll adjust or whether he'll stick with that strategy. Because it's like the Sky Drop from Jason's side is quite instrumental. It helps him take out things like the Trollkoal on Matthias' side of the field. And potentially it could take out other members of the team like the Arcanine or the Porygon 2 if we see that. So I think he needs to utilize that and try and aim to get the Trick Room up and get possibly the Gigalith in, and then start getting some damage on Matthias' side of the field.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Lee. It's really tough. Like, I think Matthias just prepared with that Arcanine Tapu Koko lead, like, for literally everything. Like, he covers that Silvally Mimikyu lead pretty well. He did cover a Tapu Koko Garchomp lead, kind of getting off the early Intimidate and threatening that Garchomp with a Dazzling Gleam. And we see Silvally making an appearance here next to Garchomp. And Matthias again goes for the same lead that worked out perfectly last turn, getting off an Intimidate on both Silvally and Garchomp, which is really good when you get that off in the first turn. Yeah,
really reduces the pressure that potential explosion can put on to your side of the field from that Silvally. We haven't seen the item on the Garchomp yet. We have seen it has Protect and Sword Stance. Does it have the Ground DMZ? Does it have that Tectonic Rage? It could launch into potentially the Arcanine or the Tapu Koko. We've seen that it can take at least one Dazzling Gleam.
This is gonna be really interesting what Silvally wants to do, how bulky that Garchomp is. Like, if Silvally gets off a Parting Shot into the Tapu Koko, turning Dazzling Gleam into not a 2-hit KO, but a 3-hit KO or something. So this would be interesting, but we have seen the Life Orb on Matthias' side, so he preserves his Arcanine for later, switches in the Kartana into the Arcanine slot. Tapu Koko plays it safe, goes for Protect, so he covers a potential Explosion perfectly. Silvally goes for Parting Shot, now has to stay in because he targeted that Tapu Koko, and we see a Tectonic Rage coming off from the Garchomp right off the bat, probably into that Arcanine slot. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, potentially into the Arcanine slot, and it's going to be quite handy to get some damage if it is onto that Kartana that has just switched in.
Yeah, Matthias saw that coming. Usually, even intimidated Garchomps take out the Arcanines in one hit with Tectonic Rage, as we can see based on the damage dealt to Kartana. This was a huge amount of damage. And yeah, Silvally is basically just passive threatening right now. It cannot deal damage to Tapu Koko, and if Kartana and Tapu Koko like target down that slot, it may take out the Garchomp. But on the other hand, Jason can send in something with Parting Shot for free then.
Yeah, the obvious play here for Jason is to protect the Garchomp and try and get a parting shot onto that Tapu Koko potentially, and get maybe something like Mimikyu, Celesteela in. But the problem is you've always got the threat of that Tapu Koko. I think it's obvious that a Dazzling Gleam may come out here, but Matthias could read into that and just target into that slot with a Thunderbolt, which might not work out brilliantly for Jason.
So we see actually the Garchomp protecting. We see Silvally going from parting shot into the Tapu Koko. I'm really curious what Jason's gonna send in right now. It is gonna be the Mimikyu, and I'm super curious. Is Matthias targeting the Mimikyu's Law or not? Dazzling Gleam from Tapu Koko will just break Mimikyu's disguise, making it open for an attack. And Kartana, what are you going for? Ooh. Let's see. Leaf Blade into the protecting Garchomp. So no reads on this turn. Both players wanted to make it safe there. No risks at all to...
There's no risk from Matthias' side of the field. The Dazzling Gleam covers the Garchomp, and doubling into it with the Kartana just ensures if it does go for an attack, you're kind of potentially clearing that slot, while you know the Silvally is probably going for that parting shot and something's coming in.
Yeah.
And if it is that Mimikyu like it was, you broke that disguise, which is huge for Matthias, because he can target into that slot now and potentially pick up a KO and stop the Trick Room.
But instead he opts for a protect, and Kartana goes for a Smart Strike into the Mimikyu, taking it out in one hit, activating the Beast Boost, boosting its attack stat. Garchomp seems like it went for Earthquake actually. Does it take out the Kartana? I think so, based on the damage we have seen. No,
-1.
No, Kartana is now a real threat to Jason. Silvally comes in for Jason on the Mimikyu slot.
And we did see it outsped the Tapu Koko and the Kartana the previous turn. Whether it carries an attack that can take down that Kartana, that would be really beneficial for Jason here, and put him in a lot better position going into the next turn. Taking that Kartana down, because now it's got that Beast Boost. Jason doesn't have any Intimidate on his side of the field. He can bring in to reduce that Beast Boost, and he needs to really kind of preserve this Garchomp.
And we see a detect from Kartana, scouting what is Silvally gonna lock into, and it is the Rock Slide. Silvally goes for Rock Slide, maybe gets a flinch on the Tapu Koko. Kartana doesn't. No flinch. Dazzling Gleam from Tapu Koko coming out, doing not so much damage as expected, and Garchomp goes for the Sword Dance. So Garchomp basically is free. So it comes down to, will Rock Slide connect to the Kartana? Will it take it out in this turn? And oh, this is gonna be interesting. Matthias still got the Arcanine in the back, right? So
yeah,
being able to lower the attack of Silvally and then making Kartana not getting knocked out and targeting down the Garchomp, was that a play, Lee?
It possibly is. You know, the Kartana is probably likely to go down this next turn, but we may see an Earthquake come out from the Garchomp. We've only seen, what have we seen? Earthquake, Protect,
Sword Dance.
Sword Dance. So we haven't seen the fourth move yet. We may see Rock Slide.
Yeah.
So it could be a double Rock Slide. Like you say, that Arcanine has come in now to reduce the...
Oh, and Kartana avoids. So we see the Rock Slide again. Kartana avoids. Arcanine taking some damage, but Kartana is probably going for an attack. No, he takes down the Silvally in one hit with a Sacred Sword. Whoa, this is interesting. Garchomp, what are you going for? We have seen a critical hit on the Arcanine, and Garchomp goes for a Rock Slide. Will it take out the Kartana? No, it hangs on. It takes out Arcanine, but Kartana hangs on with what looks like 1 HP. So
that's one amazing imaginary sash there on that Kartana.
Yeah. This is huge now for Matthias. That Kartana is in a really good position right now.
Yeah, and he can just bring in the Tapu Koko now. He threatens the reset that parting shot. Reduction that he took earlier in the game, and now he threatens the KO onto the Garchomp with the Dazzling Gleam, and Kartana is Beast Boosted, so again it is going to threaten that Gigalith straight up, and it looks like Matthias is going to wrap things up this game. Unfortunately, he's just managed the field so well, and really just he had a game plan and stuck to it. And unfortunately for Jason, he has tried to adjust his game, but it just hasn't worked out.
Lee, but let's point out, did we see if this guard jump is rough skin or not? Did we see that?
I don't think we've had any contact with it to show that yet.
Matthias plays it safe. He saves his Tapu Koko, taking out Gigalith with a Leaf Blade. So Dazzling Gleam does even more next turn because it's targeting only one Pokemon. Garchomp goes for a Rock Slide. As sad, Tapu Koko is protecting, and Kartana with that 1 HP goes down to the Rock Slide. But still, Matthias got another Pokemon in the bag, and now Tapu Koko really threatens that knockout on the Garchomp.
Yeah, single target Dazzling Gleam, and as we've seen, Matthias, Tapu Koko is holding the life orb, so it will be enough. And then we've got Matthias's Garchomp on his side of the field, and we've seen it carries the Tectonic Rage. But like you say, we haven't seen the Rough Skin ability activate on this Garchomp on Jason's side of the field. The Sand is up, so it has that Sand Veil ability.
Sand Veil could be the only out Jason got. Tapu Koko going for a Dazzling Gleam. Garchomp protected, and Jason...
It's a nice protect there from Jason, expecting the Tectonic Rage into that slot. Probably will be able to survive this.
That protect was really good because like C-moves always hit when no, they don't.
Yeah, they ignore any accuracy.
Yeah,
most of the time.
They do not always hit, but they ignore any accuracy drops. So this was a good play by getting the protect off, and now he's maybe hoping for Sand Veil to activate like 2 or 3 times to just avoid those Dazzling Gleams.
He can avoid the Dazzling Gleam and get an Earthquake off. He really needs to avoid both attacks, really. And he needs to hope that he at least speed ties or outspeeds Matthias' Garchomp. So there is a slight chance.
And we see Matthias' Tapu Koko protecting, not wanting to take any damage at all because he goes for an Earthquake. Let's see if it is enough. And it is. So Matthias takes the win versus Jason Mccullough. 2 quick games, 2 really good games.
Really good games.
Both players playing for outs there, but Matthias, like, he had such a good plan in this match.